ASMR. My name is Michael. And today I'm going to be doing splits between whispering and soft-spoken. Today is going to be a whispered / soft-spoken ramble. And it's to welcome you into the new year. And wanted to give an update over, since it's been a little while since before Christmas, since my last post. So, we'll get started. In terms of topics and things, I wanted to start off by asking a question. Are there things that you do as a tradition each year? Some people set New Year's resolutions. Some people have certain goals and targets and things that they like to do. Curious what yours are. Any particular traditions that you've kept up? Something that we've done in my family is we tried to welcome the new year with prayers, with coming before the Lord and asking about, what kind of things does God have for us this year, and how can we be best positioned to receive what He has for us. Sometimes it's praying for keywords, like what's a theme for this particular year. I remember one year my mom was sharing that the word that she had heard was something like perspective, getting a different perspective on things, God's perspective on things. It can be very different than a normal human perspective when you see people and you look past the shell, the exterior, the kind of people that they are, and look at their heart, how God sees them, the care and love that He has for them. And when you treat people with that vision of not who they are, but who they are in God and who He created them to be, there can be a lot more respect, a lot more love, beyond humanly possible. So I think that's a good one, So each year we try to have a different theme or a different approach, but it's all centered around God and what we hope to do in partnership. With God, it's a relationship. It's never a thing on your own. It's a together thing. So anyway, today's a ramble, as I mentioned before. So I'm not filtering out all the ums and pauses and those types of things because it's just a ramble. I'm holding some personality poker cards. These are it's branded personality poker. I'm not sponsored. And what they have is the same color and the same back on the cards. They're like this. They look the same. This one's blue and it has some black with some red on it. And I think it's supposed to be a poker chip, but it's just a picture. It's not really a poker chip. It's just a picture of one. You can't actually stack it with other poker chips because it's a picture. But you can flip through the cards. They have personal character traits on each of them. So this one says loyal. Now, it has a 6 of hearts, so I believe it's a real deck. I don't have the whole thing. Spoilers. I am not playing with the whole deck. I'm not playing with a full deck of cards here. This one is the 5 of diamonds. There's diamonds and there's 5 of them. Right there. Are you curious what that one says? It's kind of blurry, but it says curious. So, this one says structured. It's the 7 of clubs. This one is the 8 of spades, and then it says logical. You're probably wondering why sharing this with you. I've recently had these at my desk for something to fidget with when I'm being analytical. If you're an analytical person, you're probably wondering why I have a deck with 2 9 of spades. As an analytical person, you can tell there's something wrong with this deck. And that would be logical. And you would have found out because you took a structured approach to figuring out what was going on. So they have 6 of hearts as loyal. This one is self-sacrificing. They even have one that... Do you like how I share it with you and it's off the screen? It's a mystery and you can be curious. If you remember, curious was... the 5 of diamonds. So 7 was the open-minded, self-sacrificing, adventurous, diplomatic, insightful, intellectual, logical, all of these kinds of things, very interesting things. Anyway, they call it personality poker. There's certain things you can do with it where you work with a team or people that know you, and you exchange cards, and you say, hey, why don't you give these cards to people who strike you as data-driven? And you can say, I think Ted is data-driven. I'm going to give this card to Ted. Ted collects all the cards that people think about Ted, and then Ted can look at it and go, people think of me as certain characteristics and stuff, and it helps you with putting your finger on what people are known for. And you could say, well, I'm not a very data-driven, analytical person or logical. I see myself more as relational, and I like to listen to people. And you go, okay, well, if you're not getting any cards that are related to that type of character trait, is that really what people think of you, even though you think you're a really good listener? Are you really? Is that the impression that you're leaving? Now, what's interesting, and probably why I have 2 9s of spades or whatever it was, you probably want to have more than one deck if you're working with a bunch of different people, so that you don't have certain people being the first one to get a particular card, and then other people don't get it, and then they wonder, like, am I not data-driven? It's like, well, you're the last person in line. Everyone else is given all these cards out, so, I mean, from a data-driven, logical approach, you're not going to be left with much. It's going to be the leftovers. It may not be what people really think of you, but they didn't have any other cards to give you. So you can think of approaches to solve that solution. Something to do in the new year. So going back to the original comment was the theme for the year, the thoughts of the year. In one of the Bible studies I'm a part of, we talked about doing consecration. What does it mean to be dedicated to the Lord? In another book I'm reading, I'm seeing similar themes. It's interesting when themes overlap. So you get a Bible study, a separate book I'm reading, or a prayer group or something else, and similar themes start overlapping and creating a mesh. One of the ways that God communicates with people is through others, through Bible studies, through the Bible, and there's a good book called Experiencing God that talks about different ways that God communicates, and it speaks to people. And one of them is through the church, through prayer, through others and such. And if you hear similar themes on things, that's a good way of him trying to underscore things. When you study the Bible, they talk about, like, when words are repeated, it means it's important. And so when you get similar themes from different areas in your life, it could mean that it could be something that's important and something to pray about. So the one that is common across several in my world is around consecration, which means dedicating yourself to the Lord and His purposes, which means, are you ready? So one of the things I believe is that Jesus is coming back, as He's promised. That's the hope that we as Christians have, that we believe that Jesus died and raised from the dead. He's alive and He's coming back for us. And that's our hope, and that's what we are to encourage others with. If you know people and you've lost them, and you know that they are in the Lord, then you know that we will be reunited together with Him in the clouds when He comes. And so that's something that we can encourage each other with. It's going to be very encouraging to be with him together forever at that point. And part of the consecration discussion is raising questions about focus, priorities. One of my thoughts also was around the rapture. So we talked about what that means and what that is in one of the books I'm reading. It talks about how when Jesus comes back, he's going to collect all the people that believe in him together, and that it's going to happen in the twinkling of an eye. We're going to be changed, given eternal bodies that don't wear out, that aren't running out of energy or running out of steam, that will be together with him forever in heaven. And some of the questions are, well, if you believe that can happen at any time, it can come at any time, what are you doing about it? Are you letting people know that the invitation to heaven is an open invitation to anyone who believes that Jesus Christ is the Son of God and who has died and raised again to pay for our sins? And have they accepted that gift from God? Do they believe in him as their Lord? Does that mean that they trust him with their life? These are all very good questions. And so one of the encouragements is, well, if you believe that this is happening and you know it's going to come at any time, how can you be ready? How would you live your life differently? Are there choices that you would make that would be different? What does it mean to be consecrated? Well, it probably means I'm not going out and getting drunk. I'm not doing drugs. I'm not spending my money on things that are going to be distractions, and it impacts all the areas of one's life, and planning and thoughts and stuff. Is when Jesus is the Lord of your life and you submit every area of your life to him, what are you holding back? All right, so there's something that you're holding back, like these are all really tough questions to ask and to pray over, and have that relationship with God with to work those out. God, is there anything in my life that's a distraction from you? And how can I better share the love that you've given me with the people in my life? So a lot of questions, and these are good things to write down and to journal about, to pray about, and to seek the Lord over for answers. Praying for answers, seeking the Lord. These are good things. Really good things. So what's your tradition? Do you have things that you like to do every year? Certain family you like to see? Friends you like to maintain relationships with? Are there spiritual goals that you have in terms of reading the Bible or praying? In terms of fasting or not fasting? Or are there things that you want to do to meet new people at church or Bible study? Or what kind of things do you have goals and plans for? And what's going to make a difference in all of eternity if you're investing in your life? And you think that you only have so many days on this planet. How do you want to invest those? Is it partying every day? Does that last? This book I'm reading about the rapture was talking about how it's called The Great Disappearance. And it's talking about how if you think Jesus can come at any time, what would you not be doing that you don't want him to come when you're doing? So if you're in an argument with somebody and you're yelling at them and you're very angry and upset, would that be a good time for him to show up? If you're having that third slice of chocolate cake, is that a good time? There's a lot of other examples I could use that, we could fill in the blanks for that would not be good examples of things. And the answer isn't, why? I just hope it doesn't come then. It's more like I shouldn't be doing certain activities, or I should be engaged in certain activities. wouldn't it be nice if he came when I was in the middle of serving widows and orphans? And wouldn't it be nice if he came when I was sharing his love with people who were in prison or who didn't have clothes to wear, and I was giving them extra clothes and things that I wanted to bless them with? Like, wouldn't that be nice if he showed up in those situations?
And you can think about those types of things. How do you encourage other people to do good works? Things that are a blessing, not for the sake of getting the glory of doing them, but because of love.
Because of love. Yeah, Michael.
Where's the spiritual gifts cards, Michael? Where's all the ones that talk about patience, goodness, kindness, gentleness, self-control, long-suffering and patience, love, mercy, justice?
That's not on these cards.
Maybe we should make one of those decks. And then we can have a card game. We can have the spiritual components. What do you think? What do you think?
It's good to sit down and journal and pray and see what God has for you this year. It's a together thing. The relationship with God is a together thing. You're never alone. And so as long as you keep that in mind and you know that there's a reason to keep on keeping on, it's because He's with you and supporting you and providing for you and blessing you. It gives you something to look forward to on your darkest days. He fights our battles. He is with us. Those are the things that are encouraging no matter what you go through.
2023 was a very difficult year for me, personally. It started off January 1st, 2023. Found out my cat had cancer and didn't have much longer to live. 2 months later, she passed. It was awful. January 2nd, 2023, my other cat fell from the banister. We had to take him in to see if he got hurt. Praise God, he was okay, but
he fell from our banister on the stairs, and so that was the first 2 days of 2023. There's a lot more that happened in 2023. I found out in January I got laid off. I had been at the company for 20 years, and it was a blessing to be there, and God provided for me there. And I know He'll put me wherever He wants me. I knew He would put me wherever He wanted me the whole time. We also lost one of our other cats, also to cancer. They were both 15, so they lived long lives, and we're very appreciative for that. It's a lot. It's a lot.
There's a lot of other stuff that happened as well that I'll have to save for another time.
But anyway, 2023 was a very difficult year, and I know that the only reason I was able to make it through and not try to drown my sorrows was because I had hope. I have hope that Jesus is coming back, and He's coming back for all of you who believe. For me, together we'll be with all those who have gone before us.
Like my grandmother, if you remember one of the other episodes I talked about.
And I'm looking forward to seeing the family that I've lost, that it'll be good to see them again. But anyway, so I have hope. So I'm sharing that with you. Yeah. Let me know what you think about the Wispered Ramble of
mixing it with whispers and soft-spoken. And let me know if you want me to do more sounds, things, or have objects and do things with.
Anyway, I always appreciate your comments and feedbacks and thoughts and stuff. So let me know what your thoughts are. It's just a quick thing to get out and say,
Happy New Year. Pray that God blesses you. Just know that there's something I want to tell you. There's something I want you to know. Before we end, there's something I want you to know. I am so grateful for you. I am so grateful for you.